Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Okay, Shaun Scott, you are joining me right now. Firstly, I want to say thank you for your time. You're taking on Dustin Fisher, and I believe it's for the Amateur Middleweight Shamrock FC title. Also, there's a pro contract as a reward, I suppose, for winning the bout as well.
So actually there's been a pull. Dustin Fisher is no longer able to compete. I will be fighting Kevin Roper. And that is, I currently am the title holder. This will be my second title defense. And I intend to put the belt back on my bookshelf after the fact. And then, yes, this would be in effect for an extended professional contract contingent upon the win.
Okay, there you go. Opponent change. I actually had this last week as well with somebody else where the opponent changed 2 hours before I spoke to them, and this is life. This is what happens to me. I always get the wrong details, but it doesn't matter. It's just another
it's
opponent.
Absolutely nothing new, and then it's just the nature of the beast.
It is, my friend. It happens, man. Look, okay then. The contract's up for grabs there because, like you say, you're defending the belt again. Do you feel that you're ready for that stage of the professional ranks now? Do you already feel that you've kind of sharpened your tools within the amateur ranks?
Well, and then I've got a couple developmental fights that are looking like they're going to be really well. Kevin Roper fought my good friend Wes Powers. When he took the Fight Hard title, he fought my good friend Dave Sanderson. He's fought a solid number of very excellent competitors. He's fought I'm trying to think if he fought a couple other guys that I know. Yeah, the guy's 6'3". He'll be a game contender. He'll be the tallest guy I've ever faced, and the second tallest being old Denver Sells, who handed me my loss. So it should be a good one full of fireworks. But yeah, the guy headlining the card, Kyle Kurtz, who's just up for Amateur of the Year this year, has done exceptionally well. He's a two-time Bellator veteran, and I believe if you check the record, a guy named Coach Shaun Scott came out on top when we, met at the Fight Hard Arena. Pretty much everybody who I've been slated to fight or fought has moved on to the professional ranks, and the reason I kind of have taken a bit of a longer road, at least for my first few years of development, was I was taking the time to compete gymnastics for half of the year. So I would only have half of the year to devote to fighting. But yeah, some of my contemporaries have moved on. I feel very comfortable, at least with a few proposed bouts moving forward. At the professional level, I've had I've turned down more than one, just to make sure I feel very comfortable making that move. And I do not intend to get worse. I intend to perform admirably and kind of make the best possible choices moving forward. But yeah, I intend to make the move soon, and I intend to be feeling very good about it.
Now you say gymnastics there. Is that something? Now this gymnastics that you've done, is it finished? Are you done with gymnastics? Have you basically got what you needed out of it? Is it something that you'll just keep doing as a pastime? What's the scenario with that though?
I will never be finished. Gymnastics is life. I grew up, I'm a fifth-generation Sokol gymnast, which is a not-for-profit organization that came here in St. Louis in 1865. And through that, I conceptualized gymnastics as any system of bodily movements or changes of movements with any kind of apparatus. And so as that's a fairly wide ranging definition, I could technically, under that umbrella, consider fighting gymnastics. So I do a lot of it. I flipped this morning. I'll flip this evening. So that's something that I do and incorporate in my training, and in terms of dynamic strength and functional movement stuff. Especially with the prevalence of Conor McGregor, it's not getting less popularized. It's not getting less applicable or beneficial. So no, that is definitely something that I intend to continue. The reasons that I stopped competing where I had a ligamental injury from a jiu-jitsu competition in my elbow, and then subsequently a broken foot from sparring before about 2 years ago, and then a change in facilities at which I am running teams out of. But, I might be getting a new facility now, and if I get that new facility, and even without it, I'm working at one gym currently, I have the opportunity to bounce myself and do some gymnastics, so that's something I'm going to continue to do for the rest of my life.
Well,
my great-grandfather could press a handstand until he was 78, so I'm not going to let him one up me.
Well, the thing with, like you said, the gymnastics is great. It's a great kind of body workout, it's a body weight workout, and like you said, functional strength is basically.
Yeah, GSP seems to like it.
Yeah, GSP still does it even now. I see him posting stuff every now and then of him doing stuff at gymnastics. Still, it's something that he's kind of stuck at. It wasn't a phase. It wasn't something he did just because it looked good on the videos for the countdowns for his fights. He stuck at it because he believes in what it does and the benefits he gets from it. And
because it's continually beneficial and progressive, and I would recommend it to all of my training compatriots, contemporaries and potential opponents.
Oh, it's crazy because when you see especially when you watch it on the Olympic level, the Olympic Games, and you see the rings and you see the guys just putting their arms straight out, and I'm just thinking, nah, it's just not right. It's just not normal. It's crazy strength.
If you can hit an iron cross or a muscle up, you're going to be pretty hard to key lock or arm bar, and that's a fact.
Well, that's the thing, that there's people that don't realise there's stuff that they'll be doing, for example, in gymnastics, like on the rings, or like you say, I'm not sure of all the other terminologies, but they will benefit in, like you said, a key lock circumstance where they wouldn't think it would benefit them in that, but it does. There's pros to everything they're going to do, but they won't know until it obviously comes to competing. What benefits have you found then when you were competing, that maybe when you were going against opponents that you noticed differences?
Well, and I tend to be, I'm a pretty big guy, and a lot of times you look at the big guy and you say, okay, your max bench press doesn't really benefit you in the cage. But I tell you what, when someone's trying to sweep me, or when someone's trying to throw me, or when someone's trying to transition wrist control or maneuvering, there are a lot of supplemental axillary muscles that I have trained and developed over the course of my exposure to gymnastics that come in very, very handy in those sport-specific situations. So I feel that the cross-training is very specifically applicable.
Yeah, a lot of guys, I think, are starting to realise that they should cross-train at different kind of exercises. I won't say, because you've got, for example, you could just go outside and, it's like strongman competition kind of exercises, because
I'm actually the second strongest man officially in St. Louis through the strongman circuit.
Well, there you go. You see what I mean? There's those kind of at
my weight class.
Well, there you go. It's at that kind of explosive power you need. There's all benefits, not just in a particular doing martial arts. Like, for example, like just doing boxing. There is. There's things you can get out of, like, for example, like you say, gymnastics, strongman, lifting, all sorts of things that they do have their place.
Well, and then talk about neuromuscular facilitation, the efficiency of my body in conjunction with my body, and then you're just talking about being strong. We haven't even gotten into the fact that I'm really difficult to say toe point or to leg lock or something like that, because I can literally do the full splits over somebody. So as a big guy, I can be fairly slippery because of my joint range of motion and arthrokinematic function.
Well, I can vouch in the sense that I did yoga, and that really helped for my jiu-jitsu. That the flexibility that I got back into, because I got really into my weightlifting. I started lifting big, and because of that, I didn't do basically I didn't stretch enough afterwards, so I was just, my muscles were just getting tighter and just short.
Yeah,
the heads were getting short.
And then you get those musculature imbalances and stuff like that. And people don't realize that, but you've got to work everything. You have to treat the whole body. We have to work all of these different aspects of things.
Yeah.
In order to really put our best foot forward athletically.
No, you really do. It makes a huge difference, because, like I say, after I started doing the yoga and stretching more and more, everything came more fluid. It was just, it's incredible the difference when you really do apply the kind of aftercare. I call it aftercare really, because you know when you do, like, for example, when you go sparring, you got a sparring night on.
Yeah.
When you finish sparring, you should really stretch off when you get home as well. You know, spend an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes just stretching out.
Well,
and
if
people
you're doing
don't.
repetitive motions, you get pattern overload, stuff like that. Then you
Yeah.
get those altered length tension relationships. And if you let those kind of exacerbate and keep going on their own, you're definitely going to do it. You're going to carry tension, and you're going to potentially lead to injury, which is why, you know, we emphasize working antagonists, stuff like that. And then you gotta stretch after stuff. You can't go out all bundled up. You gotta cool down. You gotta stretch. You gotta work through things. And then that's funny you call it aftercare. We call it prehab. We do a lot of prehab because, you know, if you do get injured, you're out for, you know, with a bone 4 weeks to 6 weeks with a soft tissue, ligamental, anything, strain, whatever. You're potentially looking at 4 to 6 months. So we take the time to emphasize that before it ever becomes an issue, which a lot of people do not do. They want to go in there and they want to, you know, you talk about sparring. Man, my job, my intent is to get punched in the head as little as possible in this sport. And granted, I'll even stand there and take a couple shots to the dome to kind of reset myself while I'm in the cage. But while I'm in training, that does not happen. You know, I'm not trying to get punched in the head. I'm not trying to get injured. I'm not trying to, you know, do whatever. I'm trying to go through things as consensuously and as in as intelligent a fashion as possible.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really appreciate the afterwards when they'll just, for example, have finished sparring, they'll just want to go home, have some food, and just sit on the sofa and just do nothing because they'll be physically tired, but they need to get
up.
That's
the worst thing you can do because you need to get that move, get that nutrient flow, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, like, people will get those little, you know, bumps or sprains or whatever, and they'll want to just, you know, wait on that, sit on the couch, and then ice it later that night. You got to ice it for like that first 4 hours. Then you need to, you know, make sure you're getting the heat, so you're getting that nutrient flow, and you need to move the muscle. You need to move it through. It's like when people are sore. You know, if someone gets sore and then they want to sit on their butt for 2 weeks, it's like, that ain't going to help. You got to work through it.
Yeah.
I got a couple students here in class still laughing. It's like, yeah, you got to beat it up and you got to keep working.
You do. I agree.
Take care of it.
You have to, honestly. Whenever I finish any kind of whatever exercises I'm doing or whatever session, I always I like going for a walk, just a gentle walk for about a mile or two.
Well, that's great. You've got to cool down something.
That's my way of doing it. I'm stretching at the end. When I finish the walk and I get home, I do the walk, finish the walk, get home, and then I stretch off. And for me, I find that just helps me with my little cool down and
little static stretch, whatnot. Work out what's tight. Especially, you know, if we're doing a lot of punching, you know, work the front delt. If we're doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, probably like the lats are tight, our forearms are tight, our adductors get tight. You know, and people don't take the time to roll it out, to stretch it out, etc.
No, they don't. I've got a roll mat and I've got like a little hard ball as well, which I use to get any kind of
cross ball.
Just like just a.
And that's great, just for breaking up the fascia there in the muscle.
Exactly, and I tell you,
playing with one right now
makes a huge difference. And there's little things that people, you know, I think they're not expensive. They're little things you can have, and just have them in the house. And you can just...
Well, exactly. And then when they started really emphasizing foam rolling and that myofascial release, you know, a couple of years ago, those big foam rolls that you see everywhere now, those cost, you know, $75 to $150 because they were, you know, selling protocol for rolling, and then they were saying, oh, this is a special type of foam. But really the interaction with the muscle is all that matters, that you're breaking up the fascia, that you're just smashing through it, and that you're doing it on a regular basis when you need to in terms of recovery. You know, so you can get those now for like $5 at, you know, wherever.
Yeah.
And so if people aren't doing that, they're definitely missing something in their training.
They are. It sounds silly, but people who aren't doing it, I think they're taking away a weapon because I feel like they're causing detrimental damage to themselves. I think that you're already giving your opponent an advantage by not doing something like that.
Well, it's like the guy who cuts too much or something like that. It can feel like you're doing the right thing all day, but you're really working too hard at one thing and not emphasizing enough of the balance of everything that actually fits the full picture.
It is, and do you know what? It sounds like you've got your T's crossed and your I's dotted. Well, when it comes to then, obviously, your actual martial arts training then, well, is there anything then in particular that you found when you have been doing your amateur career that you weren't the best at, but you definitely have needed, that you spent more time sharpening up? For example, it could have been your wrestling. You might have went, I suck at double legs and I need to work on that, etc.
Yeah, so let me just kind of wrap up where we're at with the musculature and stuff like that.
Sure.
I run a business with my brothers called Sky Health and Fitness, skyhealthandfitness.com, Sky Health and Fitness on Facebook. Like and follow or whatever. For recovery, Sub-Zero Cryotherapy is a good friend of mine. Cryotherapy is excellent for muscular turnover, neuromuscular, cellular regeneration, stuff like that. And for those little bumps and sprains, a quick cryotherapy session as soon as possible is one of the best things you can do. But then, moving forward in terms of the actual, because we've talked about, priming the athlete, right?
Yeah.
So I feel that you'd have to look long and hard to find a guy at my weight who, pound for pound, is a better athlete than me. That being said, I will admit that I am not the best fighter. I am not the most technical fighter. And in terms of theology, I'm a pacifist. I don't believe that violence is a valid form of conflict resolution. And then in terms of disposition, to this day, I do not want to punch people in the face. It does not feel natural or right to me. And if you watch my tapes, I come in there and I kind of get the job done, but I don't necessarily pounce on things. I'd rather, open up my positions and choke or submit somebody as opposed to, putting them in a position where I'm obviously beating them and then doing further illicit damage on top of that. I like to end the fight, wake them up to a sweet nap, and then give them a hug, offer to buy them a beer afterwards. So my fighting has continued to progress. I grew up a wrestler. I'm currently a wrestler. Some people would probably think that I do use that as my primary strength, and personally I just think that my strength is my primary strength. But I've gotten better at being calm as I've continued to progress in my jiu-jitsu training. Jiu-jitsu training through the Vagi system at North Broadway Jiu-Jitsu with Brian Guidry, Guidry Training, guidrytraining.com, Guidry Training on Facebook, North Broadway Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook. And then I'm fortunate enough to be able to work in at times with some of the sister schools, and I kind of fill my calendar. But there's a really great system here and a great culture in St. Louis. So there are some of my contemporaries through the amateur and into the pro league ranks that I consider very good training partners, very good people to kind of soundboard and help round my skills. But being calm, working jiu-jitsu, being comfortable in uncomfortable situations, that's one thing that I was not originally very good at, and I'm getting better at. On my feet, I have never taken a step backwards. I watch film. I don't really take steps backwards. So there are no exchanges with me, really. It's just kind of go, 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 and at times that has been a detriment. I mentioned Denver Sells. I pretty much ran into him while he was punching me and resting against the cage for round after round, and that was not the best course of action.
No.
So I've been working on, I'm like, I'm trying to take him down. And he's like, well, he's not taking me down. I might as well punch him in the head.
Yeah.
And you can ask my mom how much we liked that one.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was fun, get to, you're in the sport to push yourself, to become more than you are, to put yourself into situations that will bring the best and most out of you. So I feel like I grew from that situation, and were I in that same situation, I can actually look at a different outcome. Just because I've grown. I'm not getting worse. But yeah, being on my feet, being more calm, exchanging, being smart. Defense is not my strong suit, because for the most part I throw that. A good offense is the best defense. mentality out there, so I haven't had, other than, hey, stand there and then attack some more, a lot of display of good defense. But it's all coming together. I'm continuing to get better. In terms of striking, I work with Yoda, the Lone Wolf, Mark Lone Wolf McLean. I primarily camp out of JD's gym, strongman gym. It's also turning in very quickly into one of a good, very sound and round MMA gym, and we'll be implementing very shortly jiu-jitsu training through the Guidry system, through the Vagi system there. But that's kind of where I'm at and what I'm working with. And hopefully what we see on display in 2 weeks here is the continued development of my skills in a positive direction.
Well, I was about to say, at least you are aware of where you are needing to improve, so to speak. You know what it is and what you clearly are working on, which is a very big part of it. You see, if you're not able to see where it is you need to work on, that's where you're going to fall, really. Because, like you said there, you need to maybe set up your takedowns a lot better. Maybe throw combinations to get your opponent's hands up before you shoot in for the takedown. Then that way, you're making them be defensive while you're being able to get the attack in. There's many things there that you're setting up with, which sounds fascinating for me because it means that you're a fighter who's wanting to improve, but also knowing how to improve. You know where you need to work on, and that's great to hear, honestly, Shaun.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I like to try and think that they say work smarter, not harder, but when you figure out the smartest way to go about something, then you bust your ass and you work hard at that. But yeah, I agree. And then deficiency training is what it is. I don't necessarily spend my time working the things that I like, the things that I'm good at. I spend a lot of time working the things that I don't want to do, the things that I'm not great at, because that's what's going to be the most beneficial for me moving forward.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm very cognizant and acutely aware of my downfalls.
And do you know what? It sounds like you do, Shaun, honestly. And I for one, I'm looking forward then to seeing how this progresses with this. Obviously, not this bout alone, but just how the rest of the year progresses, potentially with your pro debut and your career as a whole. Really, it seems that you've got a good head on your shoulders for the fight game, it seems.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Now, look, you've got the fight coming up. Your prep's going well. You're obviously clearly working on the little nooks and crannies that need correcting. But look, Shaun, before I let you shoot off and let you get going for today, I want you, sir, to let everyone know at home how they can contact you with social media so they can maybe give you a follow, see how you're going in your career and stuff like that.
Cool, yeah. My name is Shaun Scott, ShaunScott. I'm on Facebook. My current profile pic is me with the old belt that I'll be defending, so I'm the only Shaun Scott with a belt. Although there's a guy who rolls BJJ in England, and we're friends, so maybe there'll be an international best of the Shaun Scott, BJJ match at the very least eventually. But yeah, Shaun Scott on Facebook, like me, follow me, and then Scott Health and Fitness, SCOTT Health and Fitness. On Facebook, we post a lot of quality content, information, interesting videos, articles, stuff like that. Check out JD's Gym on Facebook. Check out North Broadway Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook. And then this is my thing because, I kind of got into it to accentuate the gymnastics, because that's my base, that's where I came from, and that's where I'll go back to. If anybody out there has kids that are cartwheel age, or they themselves are a little bit young at heart, want to try something new, want to try something fun, exciting, or developmental, check out any of the gyms in the area. I personally work at High Energy in Sokol, in Chesterfield, in South City, all over St. Louis. There are enough gyms. Get out there. They're not bad stuff. And then, with that, the same thing with fighting. If you're interested in that stuff, if you want to train, you don't have to get in the cage and get punched in the head. I don't like getting punched in the head, and I don't get punched in the head while I'm training for the most part. But there are enough amazing gyms out there, enough amazing people. The culture continues to grow and evolve that if you're interested in it whatsoever at any level, you poke your head in the gym. You're going to meet some great people. You're going to find out a lot about yourself, and you're gonna become potentially more than you are.
Yes, drop Shaun Scott an email on Facebook if you're interested and if you're in the area, and he will definitely help you out. He'll be more than helpful, I'm sure. And what about, have you any sponsors then that maybe help you out? Is there any people out there to help you out during stuff like this?
I've been kind of shying away from the sponsorships specifically while I maintain my amateur status, but there are a lot of people and places that I work in conjunction with. Probably the biggest one I'll throw through, because I know a lot of the viewership here isn't local, is the Poliquin Group, Poliquin, and that's who we do all of our certification, supplementation, and training education through. And it's just a great resource. Charles Poliquin and his compatriots, his contemporaries, and his system that he's set up are very, very applicable towards strength, conditioning, injury rehabilitation, athletic performance, moving forward. And then, like I said, I'm a professor here at the local VATROT personal fitness training program. There's anybody in St. Louis, and then there are a couple other programs throughout the country that we pepper our PFT program at. If you don't know what you're doing with your life, you want to learn something about it, you want to get some part-time recurring income, whatever. It's just something that interests you and goes through. The VATROT program is a good one, and I'll put behind that. And
then sorry, Scott. Sorry, carry on, sir.
But yeah, that'll do. I guess I can give out my shout out to. We've got a new promotion we're going to put on Proving Grounds at a new venue down here in St. Louis. But I just want to thank everybody for the opportunities that I've been given. Jesse Finney, Rob Donaker through Shamrock FC. They've been great for me. I hope that I've been representing them well as their champion. I've got immediately preceding this, so 2 weeks I've got this bout, and then 2 weeks after that I've got a title fight against a guy named Curtis Eller on the Fight Hard show for their middleweight title. And then just moving forward, I appreciate the whole community. I appreciate everybody who's kind of been behind me and supported me on my journey. And I look forward to making them proud as I continue.
Fantastic stuff, Shaun. Look, it sounds like you've got a lot of people backing you up there. And it sounds like you've got a very busy 2016 ahead, I think. A very successful one as well. So I want to say have a great weekend when Shamrock FC comes about. Enjoy your fight. Enjoy the whole time, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Look for some highlights, because this cat's 6'3", and I'm planning on kicking him in the face.
I will be. I'll be trying to tune in as best I can. If I can't watch it live, because I might be away. I am away that weekend. Sorry to tell a lie.
Hey, I understand.
I am tied up.
I'm away. And they've got the pay-per-views, all of that.
I will be able to watch it.
Backflip.
Yeah, I'll watch it afterwards. I'll watch it when I'm back. I'm away that weekend, but I'll watch it when I get back.
Awesome.